hair is getting out of control. Saban's Power Rangers is a reboot of the insanely popular 1990s children's show. If you've seen that show, you know what to expect from this movie. And I was fine with it until I thought about it for 5 minutes and I realized that the characters in this film are basically the Breakfast Club. I mean, to a T, and to the point that they meet in detention. And I don't know if I related to the characters in the film because the film did a good job establishing the characters, or if I just knew the Breakfast Club members better. I guess what I'm saying is that this movie benefits from having seen another completely different movie. I don't think that's a compliment. But they never get beyond those surface level labels that the Breakfast Club called themselves at the end of that film. In that film you learn about the characters. In this one, kind of. There's a handful of them you learn about their home lives, but most of them are just labels. They try to throw some diversity in there by having the Yellow Ranger question her sexuality, but it's done in such a kind of flat, ham-fisted way that it's almost insulting. I think of a movie like Anna and the Apocalypse, which we talked about earlier in the series, and how there are gay characters in that film, but they're just characters. It's not a label or anything, it's just who they are. This movie kind of just throws that label onto a character and doesn't follow up with it. It's not part of who that character is. It's just a thing they do, and it's somewhat insulting. Anna and the Apocalypse handled it better. It did a lot of things better than this movie. That movie's really good. But I digress. There's a MacGuffin in the film that doesn't quite make a lot of sense. I'm not sure what it did or what it's supposed to do. I do know that it's in a Krispy Kreme though, because they repeat that fact over and over. We have to get to the Krispy Kreme because that's where something is that will do something. I don't know. And Elizabeth Banks has a lot of fun in this movie, chewing the scenery. She's very over the top, and that's kind of on par with the original show. So she's a lot of fun, but this movie somewhat devolves in its final act into the director slamming action figures together, and I'm not entirely certain that the action makes sense from a cutting standpoint. There's a lot of shots that just don't match up, so it just becomes loud noises. Even the film company knows this movie didn't work because they're already talking about rebooting it again at Paramount. So wait for that one, I guess. If you're a hardcore Power Rangers fan, you've probably already seen this by now, but I'm not, so Pet stars Dominic Monaghan and Cassina Solo. Dominic plays a shy social outcast. Think Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver. He's having a hard time in life. He's having a hard time relating to others until he sees a girl he went to high school with. She's on the bus just trying to get somewhere and they have an awkward conversation. She immediately deletes him from her memory, but he falls in love hard. So he becomes somewhat of a stalker of her. He follows her around, he orchestrates these meetups with her, and she is not receptive to his advances at all. Until one night he decides to sedate her and take her captive and keep her in a cage to fix her. This movie tries to have a lot of fun with the power structure of their relationship. There's times where she has the upper hand on him, he is not as creepy as he seems, and she's not as innocent as she seems. But the reveals as the film goes along range from not very well done to completely telegraphed. Some of the things I saw coming a mile away, and some of the things I just thought, they could have done that better. And that goes for a lot of aspects of this film. I just thought that it was bland and shouldn't have been. That if you have two characters that have this power struggle and there's reveals along the way that show us as an audience that they're not who we thought they were, that should at least be intriguing, and this film wasn't. It just came out dull. This movie we'll talk about in a week on the new episode of Does This Movie Suck? Oh yeah, it's back. Winter's Bone stars Jennifer Lawrence in an Oscar-nominated role. She plays a young woman in Missouri who is tasked with raising her baby brother after her father went to jail. Father's out of jail now, and the sheriff informs Jennifer Lawrence's character that her father has put the family farm up as bond, and unless she can find him, they're gonna lose the farm. So she sets out to find her father among all of these crime families who are all cooking meth, and it's this mystery, where is Dad? Jennifer Lawrence's performance in the film is very good, but this film is just fine with me. I don't feel like the ending has a good payoff, and that's twofold: how she finds her father and also how the final scenes resolve the plot. There's a lot of ambiguity going on, and the mind work that I had to do to get the story finished in my head, I don't think was worth the time that it took. It's a beautifully shot film, and like I said, Jennifer Lawrence is wonderful in it. I don't ever need to see it again. It was fine.